Hi everyone, welcome to Brandibay Fashion. I'm so glad to have you back. This season, Milan Fashion Week is giving us a rather fascinating conceptual shift. With this Spring-Summer 2027 collection, titled Undercurrent, the House of QASIMI clearly isn't trying to please us with easy glamour. Instead, they are imposing a particularly radical choice, showing us the garment in mid-construction. For my part, this approach of displacing seams or leaving raw threads hanging isn't just studio whimsy, it's a way of exposing the garment's construction in its most honest state. And honestly, this raw lightness works beautifully because it refuses to cheat. The Milanese runway fades under matte, almost clinical lighting, and the atmosphere immediately reminds me of the starkness of a contemporary art gallery. In fact, ask yourselves, what happens to our gaze when the inside out takes the place of the right side out? We are thrown right into the intimacy of a secret atelier, at the exact moment the fabric experiences the tailor's first tension, right before the machine freezes everything in place. Behind this project is creative director Hoor Al-Qasimi, who fuels her fashion with her dual perspective as an international curator. For this first chapter of a two-season exploration, her approach is particularly ambitious. It is anchored in the method of Hassan Sharif, the pioneer of Emirati conceptual art. What I find incredibly powerful here is that rather than literally reproducing motifs or artworks, she adopts his actual process, repeating a manual gesture to the point of boredom to let human imperfection emerge. For her, the garment becomes a tool to fill an absence, that of her late brother and founder, Khalid Al-Qasimi. Needless to say, the fabric takes on a particularly strong emotional weight. On the runway, forget the usual dynamic walks. The models advance with a suspended, highly solemn posture, letting the runway breeze animate the loose cuts. This is exactly where I was waiting to see how the brand would perform. It was crucial to prevent the silhouette from slipping into something too slouchy. The stylistic detail that rescues the attitude and defines the look this season is at the waist. Crochet belts with long strands of loose threads that swing with every step. It gives a very singular relief to each passing look. But then, technically speaking, how is it even possible to give so much structure to a tailored coat when it's worn entirely inside out? That's the collection's little mystery. Everything seems to rely on a complete inversion of forces. The interlining and basting stitches we usually hide become the core design lines. Add to that polo collars off-centered with surgical precision, you get the impression that the garment is built around the axis of the moving body, rather than just tossed on by chance. Do you feel that disconnect too? Texture-wise, we get a real visual punch from the clash between ultra-rigid twill and invasive manual dyes. You can sense that the fabric has already lived several lives in the artisan's hands. The palette remains true to QASIMI mocha, brown, camel, but it's awakened by a sharp agave green and a highly subtle dawn pink. It's the exact kind of light treatment that shows real maturity. The color isn't stamped onto the fabric, it seems to infuse from within. When you look closely at the finishes, it's the wide-open knit cardigans and these intentional flaws that break up the severity of the lines. These hanging threads, these shifted seams, it's pure poetry. Deep down, aren't we redefining what a finished garment actually is, together? Looking at the progression of the show, it opens with an almost clinical sobriety featuring those inverted monochrome suits. Then the pace accelerates, textures accumulate, blending linen, knitwear, and stained twill in a beautifully mastered crescendo. And the final look is particularly powerful. The closing silhouette drops a magnificent grand coat with its internal structure laid bare. It floats like textile armor and concentrates, in a single pass, all the poetry and emotion of the show. So of course we have to ask the question. For my part, I remain a little skeptical about real life when faced with off-center collars and raw seams pushed to the extreme. It's brilliant and conceptual on a Milan runway, we can agree on that. But the line between artistic audacity and a sloppy effect remains razor-thin for everyday wear. The real risk is that the untrained I will see it more as a manufacturing defect than an intentional creative gesture. Let's be real, not everyone on the street has the reference points of an Emirati conceptual artist. What we take away in the end is the maturity of Hoor Al-Qasimi. She avoids the trap of copy-pasting artwork to deliver a powerful collection, a significant milestone for the house, proving that grief and absence can become incredible engines for creation. Now I can't wait to hear what you think. Is this focus on inside-out seams and exposed threads the pinnacle of conceptual luxury to you? Or does it completely ruin the wearability of the pieces? Tell me frankly if you would dare to step out in that inverted suit. I really want to discover your interpretations. Thank you so much for sharing this moment of analysis with me. To sharpen your eye before the next video, have some fun looking at your own clothes and spot how a simple displaced seam can change the whole dynamic of a silhouette. I wish you an excellent viewing experience for the rest of the show. See you very soon for a new analysis.